Hi, and welcome at Your Guitar Workshop. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at how to use sixth intervals in our solos. Let me play you a little example, and then we'll get into how to play that on the guitar. Here we go. What am I using? So I was talking about the interval. There are two types of sixth intervals. One is a major sixth, which is this one, and we have a minor sixth. What I like to do when I try to work with these intervals is to see them around the chord. So we're playing a blues in G here. So this is my G7th chord. The first sixth interval is already inside the chords, which is if you play the D and B string, that's our first interval, and that is a major sixth. Then if you place that a whole step up, that is our second sixth interval, and then you put your middle finger in 6 and ring finger in 7, and then ring fingers on D and middle finger on B. And that is our third interval over that G7 chord. So good. Right? Then over our C7 chord, this is our C7 chord, and then the first sixth interval is already in there. It's played by your pinky and ring finger, which is a major sixth. Another one is a whole step down, just as with the G7 chord here. And if we go back to the first one, there's also one up from there, and that is in the same position as with the G7 chord. So this is actually really interesting. So the sixth intervals in this position are the same for G7 and C7. So let me show you. Now the thing is that when you're playing over the G7, you'll probably have a tendency to want to hear certain intervals more, or the ones in a certain position more than others, and it may be different for the C7 chord. Now, what we also learned here is not just the intervals for those chords in that position, but you could sort of also see it as where those intervals are on a G7 or a C7 chord in a blues. With that chord shape, right? So this is G7, and this is how we play it. So if I would play C7 here, you get the same thing, right? And if I play G7 here with that C chord, with that the way I play it, so in that A shape. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does, right? So, and I can show you too. So now I'm going to be playing that G7, those intervals here, the way I played them over the C7 chord, but then adjust it, right? Sort of using the cage system. And then playing the C7 intervals in that E-shaped dominant chord. So here we go. Oops. So here we do have a few differences. And so when we're playing over G, it's 10th position major major 6, 12th position major 6, and then here we have that minor 6. Over the C7 chord, like our 3rd position interval here, over the G7 that would have been a major 6. Here it is a minor 6 interval. So when you're playing a solo, it's really good to sort of look for those places, because that's where you can really indicate the chord. So that works like this. Right? Once more. So now the only one that we are left to do, so we did G7, C7, is the D7. So the D7 we will now play in sort of a C shape, right? And under our middle finger and pointer finger, there's already a minor 6 interval. So if we go one up from that, we have in 5th position a major 6 interval. Then if we go back down again, we go back to that minor 6 interval, and if we move that minor 6 interval down a whole step, we got the 3rd one. So we got 1, 2, 3 over D7. Now the funny thing is that if we would sort of use all those 3 shapes for G, then you actually span the entire neck of the guitar with your interval. So we got the E shape for G7, right? The next one here, C shape. And then we got our A shape. And then here is our E shape again. For me, linking things to chords gives me the ability to see them quickly because I'm improvising over chords. So if I can see the chord and I can see those, and here I can already see it relating to this one, right? So the great thing is it works the same for C7, so that gives me a lot of freedom to start playing. So like this. Going to D7. C7. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you check my Patreon page because that's where I'm going to be releasing the PDF for this lesson. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If there's any stuff that was in this lesson that wasn't really clear and you want me to do another lesson on, make sure to put that in there as well. Keep practicing, keep playing, and I hope to see you again sometime. Bye.